Hi, it's Tacticus again. Today's topic is Onslaught, by far my least favorite game mode, but essential for the game progression. We're going to look at it from two angles. A basic beginner's guide to help people just starting out to make the most out of it, as well as an in-depth number crunching on the rewards for veterans. If you like my content, you can really help me out by using my friend code BAD60ADO in game to get 100 Blackstone for you and various rewards for me. You can keep up best with my content by subscribing. Before we start with the video, let me know in the comments whether you like to play Onslaught matches and what you think Snowprint could do to make the mode more engaging. Or if you just love it, of course let me know too. Onslaught sees you face a horde of Tyranids. You can use a whole alliance of fighters against them and earn badges and orbs from it. Especially for badges, Onslaught is your main source. You can also earn character shards for your characters, including unfarmable ones here, so the mode is incredibly important. As you face 7 waves of Tyranids in the later levels, Onslaught will take quite some time to play. But luckily, you only get a token every 16 hours. Combined with the token cap of 3, you can wait 2 full days before hunkering down and eradicating some Tyranids. Newer players will have to put some more work in, as reaching a new level will award you 3 Onslaught tokens beginning from level 9, right after unlocking Onslaught at level 8. I can only advise you to keep on top of your tokens. It will take a lot of time early on, but losing out on a rare resource of Onslaught tokens and the rewards they bring would be a shame. You can try to influence your level ups a bit by not upgrading characters shortly before reaching a new level, especially if you still have Onslaught tokens left over. If you are only 1 minute short of the next token being available and level up, you will have the 3 additional tokens, and the close to 16 hours of waiting will go to waste. So try to level up just after getting your latest token. You can avoid leveling up by not going to the home screen as well, and you can delay it by unequipping equipment items from your characters so your power drops for the moment. There are 3 tracks you can choose: Chaos, Xenos and Imperial. Those are divided into larger sectors and their sub-levels, the kill zones. Opposed to Salvage Run, choosing a single path and following it won't make sense, as the rewards heavily depend on the track you're playing. Every wave of enemies defeated awards you a badge. The Imperial track will give you Chaos badges, Xenos will give you Imperial badges, and Chaos will give you Xenos badges. The rewards scale with the zones you're ascending, so you will not get too much choice in the matter. The first 2 zones have a few sections of only 4 or 5 waves, while zone 3 to 10 have 6 waves. You can get rare badges from zone 5 on, and epic badges start being awarded from zone 11. From zone 22 on, the badge rewards don't scale further anymore, and you will get 1 common, 2 uncommon, 2 rare, and 2 epic badges. On the last kill zone over sector, the last epic badge will be substituted by a legendary badge from sector 16 on. You ascend the kill zones 1 by 1 and can neither hurry nor slow down really. If you defeat a wave, you will get Onslaught experience, which will unlock chests, which mainly include smaller rewards like equipment, random rarity upgrades, random badges, orbs and gold. In the beginning, the crate contains a higher number of Angrax shards, which will be the main way of unlocking him for you. Later on, those shards will dwindle and not be as plentiful anymore. You will always start with 5 characters. You can use all characters of the chosen alliance. There is a strength requirement though, and characters with smaller strength won't be able to compete. Other than in Salvage Run, the enemies are no slouches here, and I actually lost a few tokens by losing before. In that case, you will still get rewards for the waves defeated, and you will have to start the kill zone again. You won't get the reward for defeating a wave again, so losing has no advantages. It will just force you to repeat the level. The strength requirement doesn't scale as fast as the enemies. When a fighter gets defeated, you get a random choice of 2 new ones for your next turn. If Isabella resummons a character with her active, or the Gene Stealers come back with the ambush trait, you can actually have more than 5 characters, but you will only get new ones when you drop below 5 again. If you want to stand a chance, you should try to bring characters that will survive in such a long mode. Exactly as with my legendary release guides, the guidelines are the same, as it's also a long, grindy mode. Bring tanks, healers, and summoners. Especially the combinations of characters outlined in my perfect roster video will help you. If you want a longer discussion on the characters that will help you to survive Onslaught, Carnage has made a video discussing them here. We agree on that front. The short of it is, Rodbone works well with Maladus, Aleph Null works great with Rivers, and Isabella works well with any of the Gravis characters, especially Burkhard, since he does some damage as well. Summoners can also help you greatly by diverting the Tyranids' attention and saving you from getting hit too much. A few characters that stick out in Onslaught from early on are Angrax and Immuspec. Immuspec's repeatable Overwatch can make you early runs a piece of cake, and if Angrax's passive is skilled sufficiently, you can just drop him next to a spawn point in the first round and start slapping some aliens. You can't advance faster than just using tokens, but those two will definitely help you to speed the gameplay up. For Xenos, Aleph Null also works great if you can shelter your scarabs, so they can replicate enough to take the pressure off. For the same reason, Bellator works early on in the Imperial track by waiting a bit and then summoning as many Inceptors as you can to speed things up. Since the enemies tend to huddle together due to their number, Vindicta can do a lot of work and also hinder the enemy's movement. Other than that, use who you have available. At least one member of the team will usually be the character you want to honor for the additional rewards. It needs to have been deployed at some point, and since you can't guarantee that you will get it randomly later when a character dies, starting out with it is the only safe way. More on the Honor Your Heroes rewards later. The enemies consist out of Tyranids, the life forms released early on that is. There is only the standard Hormagons and Termagants, as well as Ripper Swarms and very rarely the Tyranid Warrior. Other than the warriors, all of them have the battle fatigue trait, so will have a chance of 10% to flee from the battle as soon as an adjacent friendly dies. If you overkilled that enemy, your chance is 40% even. Tyranid warriors suppress that in 2 hexes around them, so kill them first preferably. Since the Ripper Swarms are a swarm, you need 5 hits to defeat them at least, so bring characters like Lucian or Thaddeus who have exploding attacks that will ignore the swarm trait. You can also bring characters with a lot of hits if they are sufficiently strong, like Immuspec, Rivers or Bellator, although his damage is lacking for the task if not vastly stronger than the Rippers. The easiest way to dispatch them is the battle fatigue though. The Ripper Swarms are annoying to defeat, but do the least damage, so go in order of size. Kill warriors first, Termagants and Homagons second, and Ripper Swarms last. Always try to attack enemies that have the most surrounding enemies, so you have a chance they can flee. The Homagons will get more hits for each other Hormagont and Ripper Swarm next to the target, and the Termagants, in turn, get more hits for every Termagant next to themselves. Those hits can add up fast, so always try to destroy groups. The enemies follow the instinctive behavior trait, which means they don't attack to kill, but instead always attack the enemy that is closest to them. If you turn on danger zones, you can see who will be attacked next turn. You can exploit this by putting your tankier characters to the front and keeping the squishier ones out of danger. You can technically block off the spawn points too, but the enemies will just spawn in the later turns, so it doesn't do much good. If you need a lot of ability uses for missions, you can actually cheese those pretty well by just starting to deploy the weaker characters first and using their ability to just let them die after. If you're interested in more cheesing strategies, I do have a video on that here. Other than the badge rewards for other alliances, the biggest draw of the Onslaught mode is the Honor Your Heroes feature, which lets you choose one of your deployed fighters to get shards, badges and orbs for. The rewards depend on the rarity and stars of your character and will always be fitting for your character's alliance. The rewards always have a chance and aren't guaranteed. Common 1-star characters will give a common badge, common 2-star and uncommon orb, uncommon 2 and 3-star will give uncommon badges, and so on. The rarity of badge is always the same as the rarity of the character, and when the character is exactly on the stage just before ascending, you will get an orb for the next rarity instead to help you along. Since orbs are incredibly valuable, and you can get the badges by going to another Alliance Onslaught track, you should try to farm the orbs probably. You will also always get 6 to 7 shards of the chosen character. As this is the only reliable way to get shards of unfarmable characters, you should probably farm those here, because the other shards you can just farm by using energy. You can hold off from actually ascending a character if you want to further keep getting the orbs they provide. So, if you need, let's say, Shozil shards and have him as rare red star, you get the shards and the chance for the orb. If you ascend him right away, you will only get the badges going forward. So, just don't do that until you have enough shards to just jump ahead straight to epic 3 red star, when you will get a shot at legendary orbs. Then again, if you want to get the legendary badges, honoring legendary characters is the most reliable way to do that, so depending on your goals you could argue to get those here. While orbs are available in guild raids as well, and plentiful depending on your guild even, badges, especially legendary ones, are only available to buy with Blackstone, very sparsely in quests if you can go far enough there, and with guild credits, which comes down to your guild's success again. The values you can see on screen right now are the best rewards you can reach. The chances gradually go up to this maximum. The best rewards you will get from Sector 26 on. I haven't looked it up for every single level and couldn't find anything on the internet on it, so I actually tried a few runs in the test build to get some data on that. Those aren't necessarily the breakpoints, but I tried level 1 to 4 and every 5 levels after. The chances are on screen right now. If you are wondering why I skipped, for example, uncommon 3-star, the chance is the same for every point at which they get a badge. The shard number also fluctuates a bit. To determine which Onslaught reward to choose for maximum efficiency, I tried to figure out the value of badges and orbs. As the shards are always the same and you can't influence the badges you earn during the run, we only look at the Honor Your Heroes rewards, minus the shards. If you contemplate whether to farm farmable characters of Onslaught, consider this. A shard is 9.26 energy on an elite node, 9.33 energy on an extremist node, and 17.29 energy on normal and mirror nodes. For the cheapest refill of 50 Blackstone for 100 energy, that means a shard is pretty cheap compared to the inflated 35 Blackstone per shard the shop will want if you ever find a character shard there. Even if you wait for the rogue trader to give you the shards you desire and farm a blue star character with energy to get Archaeotech to buy them, a very convoluted way, a shard will cost 34.58 Blackstone in the worst case and 18.52 Blackstone in the best case. So the only case in which you should farm farmable characters is if you want to advance fast. Onslaught might actually be an okay way to do that. You get 1.5 tokens a day for around 10 shards of your choice in a day. If you use only elite nodes for farming, you can get 3.24 shards per day or 6.43 a day for extremist nodes. The only way of coming close to advancing 10 shards a day would be farming a campaign event character on a normal node, plus extremist node for 9.9 shards a day for 120 energy, which would be 60 blackstone. 2 days of elite node farming will get you pretty much as many shards as on the Onslaught token, costing you 30 blackstone in energy and 2 days of time. The 6.5 shards would also cost you 227.5 blackstone or 26 archaeotech or 666.25 guild credits. Honestly, which of those items would you rather save? For me, it definitely isn't the energy. Unfarmable characters just make the most sense. Especially since if you pull a Lucian and want him to go to legendary, you don't have any other choice to do it. The real cost of farming farmable characters here is rather the opportunity cost of not farming an unfarmable character. You can even start farming not fully released characters, as hero release characters whose event is still in process, and legendary event characters whose third event hasn't concluded yet. You can't use those until the final event has ended though. This won't come up often, as legendary characters are already legendary if you unlock them, and in normal release events, the window in which you can farm legendary orbs is pretty narrow, as it only starts at Epic 3 Red Star, which is hard to do in any case in such events. Let's have a look which tier of characters would be most valuable to farm. We will look at the maximum rewards for now, but I give you the most effective levels for each of the other sectors I showed you as well. We compare the cost in guild credits this time. It might seem unusual, but you can buy badges as well as orbs for guild credits, but orbs you can't buy for blackstone. Why use an extra layer of abstraction if it isn't necessary? In my requisitions video, I calculated the average exchange rate for guild credits and blackstone to be 2.92 to 1, but 3 is the one used most often. We just won't care about that today. A common badge is 14 blackstone, available in a 5-pack for 70 blackstone. The only item on the list that differs from the exchange rate of 3 to 1 at 45 guild credits instead of 42 per pop in the guild store. The uncommon badges are 90 credits, rare ones are 180 credits, epic badges 360 and legendary ones 720 guild credits. Pretty expensive to be honest. Orbs go from 105 guild credits for an uncommon one to 1400 guild credits for a legendary orb. While that sounds steep, from a crafting perspective, you would need 1000 uncommon orbs, a lot of forge badges, and gold to craft a single legendary orb. It's a pretty bonkers problem. Please Snowprint, if you hear me, change it, make it less expensive, make it take less orbs, remove forge badges, we don't need those, please. But it's nonetheless the most expensive item on the list. Interestingly enough, the drop rates here is still determined by the old jar system. There is no mercy system, but you are guaranteed to get the item you're looking for at a certain point. The big lucky and unlucky streaks that are in raiding campaigns just won't happen here. Now, the rewards are as follows. They become better the rarer the character you honor. Of course, if you have a 90% chance for a common badge or a rare one, I know what I'm going to take. Just from a value standpoint, while the chance for legendary orb goes down from 50% to 40% when you honor a character that's already legendary, you also get the chance of 70% for a legendary badge, which rockets the value of honoring that tier of character. The worth would be 1064 guild credits. Just so you can imagine it better, buying those items in a shop would be average around 355 blackstone. Honoring a blue star character will give you a 90% chance for a legendary badge and an automatic 6.5 archaeotech. If you are patient enough to wait for the character you need, you can view that as 1.625 shards of your choice, or a bit more than half a legendary XP book. Not too bad. I still won't count the latter part, as you get shards in all other cases as well. Just for value, honoring a legendary character that is not blue star is actually a good idea. Let's see if that still holds up for all the other sectors, as the chances, especially for the higher level items, drop significantly. If you were somehow at sector 1 still, and somehow still manage to have a blue star character, theoretically possible, you can see that honoring a blue star character would be the most advantageous. It gives a 50% chance of getting a legendary badge, which is the equivalent of 360 guild credits. The most realistic thing you could get is the rare orb for an uncommon 4-star character though, at 98 guild credits of worth. The orbs have a high value, so will always be worth a lot compared to the badges, even if you don't have a high chance. In the long run. On the runs, where you don't get them, it will just feel bad. On the Sector 2, the same holds true. Sector 4 will still have the same general idea, although the rare badges seem to win some value as they become more probable. On Sector 10, you might actually have a character that could earn an epic orb, which would be worth the most compared to the other items you would feasibly go for. The legendary orb with a 20% chance is worth slightly less on average, and since you can get a higher 30% chance for the legendary orb as well as a 50% chance for the badge, that option on the legendary characters is the best one. Sector 15 is pretty boring, with once again the legendary characters pull ahead, and this won't change going forward. So TLDR, honoring a legendary character that's not a blue star yet is the most valuable option in all cases and levels. If you want a higher chance for the legendary orb, honoring a 3-star red epic character is a great idea, and you can hold off from ascending him to keep the higher chance going forward for the next Onslaught. Then again, badges are harder to get by technically, and the worth of the combined chance for a legendary badge and orb is just higher. You will have a higher chance of not getting one or the other, but the chance of not getting either is only 18%, which to me personally, it is more motivating to get something most of the time instead of nothing 50% of the time. You can't force getting ahead in Onslaught. You will get there in time. It doesn't change much on the lower levels of rewards you will get when you are down in the lower sectors. Don't underestimate the value of getting shards for characters you can't get elsewhere. Despite the value of honoring legendary characters is the highest, I personally tend to honor epic 3 red star characters. Why? I need the orbs to ascend them, but I also need their shards to do so, and in the case of newer characters, I have no other way to do it. If I get them to epic 3 red star during a release event, I will need approximately 16 onslaughts to get them to legendary. That's 16 50% chances of getting a legendary orb I need for them as well, which means I only have to come by 2 by another way. I could honor a legendary character I want to upgrade later on average 5 times to get those 2 orbs, and will have a decent ratio between both styles of honoring. Abilities become much better from level 36 on. A lot of them have breakpoints there, like Tangida getting 1 more Skitarios on the field from there on, so getting characters to legendary is a valuable thing. And since I want some characters at Diamond 1 for my ultimate roster, I really need the characters at Legendary. If you have all the characters you want to have Legendary already completed, go for honoring already Legendary characters. So that's it for today. Let me know if you have more Onslaught tips I missed. If you like the latter part, you can watch my Over-Analyzing Tacticus series, which goes, well, way too deep into some of the economical systems here. Otherwise, people seem to like my video on my dream roster a lot, which you can watch here. Wait, a quick announcement. A merry group of Tacticus creators, including Fred, Sheku, Nox, DB Preacher and me, has started a new Discord channel to make communications with you viewers easier and chat about the game. If you want to join up, you can do so by the link in the description. Since none of the original winners of the Eltron charts have answered me yet, I will be doing future giveaways on that server for simplicity, as it is a lot easier to contact you there. I will also be giving away the leftover shards there, if the winners don't message me within 3 days. So come and join us if you like. Beyond 560, Street Surfer 1190 and Asphychius 666, please contact me. It's been over 2 weeks. All others, please subscribe, like and join the server to stay in touch for future videos. Have a great day and you'll hear from me in the next one.